Did you know that in some parts of the world, parents used to scare their children by telling them that a giant hairy demon with a long, lolling tongue would come and lick them clean if they didn't take a bath? It sounds utterly ridiculous, doesn't it? A sort of monstrous, unwelcome spa treatment. But this is just one of the bizarre and terrifying ways grown-ups have tried to keep little ones in line for centuries. This wasn't just about good hygiene, it was about survival, about teaching the rules of a dangerous world. From the darkest forests of old Europe to the windswept plains of the Americas, every culture has its own special monster, its own unique boogeyman lurking just out of sight. So, what exactly is a boogeyman? It's more than just a simple monster under the bed. A boogeyman is a creature born from our deepest, most primal fears. It is the fear of the dark, the fear of being alone, the fear of the unknown that rustles the leaves just beyond the firelight. These figures are the ultimate disciplinary tools, the shadowy enforcers of parental rules. They are the reason you ate your vegetables, went to bed on time, and never, ever wandered off into the woods by yourself. These tales were not just stories, they were warnings, wrapped in the chilling skin of folklore and passed down through generations like a grim but necessary inheritance. Our journey into darkness begins in the snowy alpine regions of Central Europe. A place of picturesque villages and, if you believe the stories, a rather terrifying Christmas tradition. Long before a jolly man in a red suit was the star of the show, another figure roamed the winter nights. This was Krampus, a creature best described as the anti-Santa Claus. Picture this: a horned, goat-like demon, covered in shaggy dark fur, with a long, pointed tongue lolling from his fanged mouth. Instead of a sack full of presents, he carries a bundle of birch branches for swatting naughty children and a large basket or sack on his back. Not for gifts, but for carrying the particularly wicked ones away. The origins of Krampus are thought to stretch back to pre-Christian pagan traditions, likely linked to winter solstice celebrations and horned gods of the wild. When Christianity spread through the region, these old figures weren't entirely erased. Instead, they were often absorbed and repurposed. Krampus became the dark companion to the benevolent St. Nicholas. While St. Nicholas rewarded the good children with fruits and nuts, Krampus was tasked with the dirty work. On the eve of December 5th, known as Krampusnacht or Krampus Night, he would appear, clanking his chains and bells, his very presence a warning that judgment was at hand. Imagine being a child in a small, snowbound village hundreds of years ago. The wind howls outside your window, and your parents tell you that if you haven't been good, a monstrous beast is coming. He won't just leave you a lump of coal. He'll beat you with sticks and then toss you into his sack, destined for his fiery lair. This wasn't merely a story. In many towns, men would dress up as Krampus and run through the streets, creating a very real and frightening spectacle. The terror was palpable. This vivid tale served a clear purpose: to instill a deep-seated respect for rules and authority, ensuring that children understood that actions, good or bad, have very real consequences. Even today, the tradition of the Krampuslauf, or Krampus Run, continues in Austria, Germany and other parts of Europe, albeit more as a folk celebration than a genuine threat. Krampus reminds us that for much of history, the festive season wasn't just about cheer and goodwill. It was also a time of judgment, a time when the darkness of winter was met with tales of monsters who were all too ready to punish those who had strayed from the path of goodness. A far cry from simply ending up on the naughty list, wouldn't you say? From the cold mountains we travel eastward into the vast ancient forests of Slavic folklore. Here, deep within the woods, lives a creature far more unpredictable and sinister than Krampus. Her name is Baba Yaga, and she is no ordinary witch. She is a force of nature, an ancient and powerful crone who personifies the wild, untamed wilderness itself. She is often depicted as a terrifyingly ugly old woman with a long, crooked nose and iron teeth, sharp enough to grind bone into meal. But perhaps the most bizarre thing about her is her mode of transport. Baba Yaga does not fly on a broomstick. She flies in a giant mortar, pushing herself along with a pestle and sweeping away her tracks with a broom. Her home is just as strange as she is. Baba Yaga lives in a log cabin that stands on a pair of giant, scaly chicken legs. This peculiar hut can spin around and move on its own, making it almost impossible to find unless it wants to be found. The fence surrounding her property is made of human bones, topped with skulls whose eye sockets glow with an eerie, otherworldly fire in the dead of night. In one famous tale, a young girl named Vasilisa the Beautiful is sent into the forest by her cruel stepmother to fetch fire from Baba Yaga's hut. The journey is a test of courage and spirit, a direct confrontation with the terrifying power of the woods, a place where children were warned never to go alone. Parents used the tale of Baba Yaga as the ultimate deterrent against wandering off. The forest was a place of very real dangers: wolves, bears, getting lost, freezing to death. What better way to keep a child close to home than to populate that forest with a cannibalistic witch who lives in a mobile hut and has a particular taste for lost little ones? Baba Yaga wasn't just a monster. She was the embodiment of the perilous unknown that lay just beyond the safety of the village. Historically, Baba Yaga represents something deeper. She is a complex figure, sometimes a villain, sometimes a reluctant helper to heroes who are brave and pure of heart. Her ambiguity makes her all the more frightening. You never quite know if she will help you or cook you for dinner. This duality reflects the forest itself, a place of resources and sustenance, but also of profound danger and death. Now we leave the forests and mountains and enter a place far more intimate and terrifying: your own bed. Our next boogeyman isn't a creature you have to go looking for, it comes to you. The tale is always the same. You wake up in the middle of the night, utterly paralyzed, unable to move or scream. You feel an immense, crushing weight on your chest, and in the darkness you sense a sinister presence, sometimes seeing the shadowy form of an old woman sitting on you. The night hag is the folkloric explanation for the phenomenon we now call sleep paralysis. Before modern science could explain this unsettling state, people sought answers in the supernatural. She was said to feed on the life force or breath of her victims, leaving them exhausted, terrified, and sometimes even marked. Parents would use this story to explain a frightening and very real-feeling phenomenon. It externalized the terror, turning an internal neurological event into an attack by a known monster. The word nightmare itself is believed to derive from the Old English mare, a term for a goblin or incubus that sat on sleepers' chests. She represents the terrifying idea that we're not even safe in our own sleep, that something dark can invade our most private space and hold us captive, silent, and powerless. Our next stop takes us to the sun-scorched deserts and ancient cities of the Near East. Here we find a creature born of desolate places and forbidden acts: the ghoul. Their defining characteristic is their horrifying diet. They are eaters of the dead. Ghouls are demonic, shape-shifting beings, able to change their shape to lure unwary travelers to their doom. They might appear as a beautiful woman or a friendly stranger, leading their victims away from the safety of the caravan trail into the desert, where they would be killed and devoured. Parents in the region use stories of the ghoul to instill a healthy fear of desolate and forbidden places. Children were warned never to wander into cemeteries, especially at night. Historically, the ghoul represents a deep-seated human revulsion towards cannibalism and the desecration of the dead. Every culture has strong taboos surrounding the treatment of corpses, and the ghoul is the monstrous embodiment of breaking those taboos. Krampus, the Christmas demon, Baba Yaga, the forest witch, the night hag, the sleep paralyzer, and the ghoul, the corpse eater. Each of these figures served a remarkably similar purpose. They were instruments of control, protectors of boundaries, and explainers of the inexplicable. They are the monstrous, shadowy reflections of the societies that created them, revealing what people valued, what they forbade, and what they feared most in the darkness beyond their understanding. What is truly fascinating is how these stories function as a form of social conditioning, a grim curriculum for children. Don't be naughty, or Krampus will get you. Don't wander into the woods, or Baba Yaga will eat you. Don't stray from the caravan, or a ghoul will lure you to your death. These tales from Europe and the Near East are just the beginning of our exploration. They show us that the boogeyman is a universal concept, but one that wears a different mask in every culture. But as we prepare to cross the seas to other continents, we will find that while the names and faces of the monsters change, the primal fears they represent remain chillingly consistent. The night is far from over, and many more monsters await. Now it's time to move on to Africa and the Americas. The ankle biter of southern Africa, the Tokoloshe. Our journey takes us south to the sweeping landscapes of southern Africa. Here, a mischievous, malevolent creature haunts local folklore. Its most distinctive feature, diminutive size. But that smallness brings a weakness. It can't reach a standard bed. It creeps into homes at night and bites off the toes of sleeping people. Because of its height, people raise their beds off the floor, placing bricks under the legs. The elevated bed. A practical piece of folklore. Broadly, the Tokoloshe represents fear of witchcraft and malevolent magic. We now cross the vast Atlantic Ocean to the Americas, where a truly heartbreaking and terrifying figure haunts the waterways. Her name is La Llorona, the Weeping Woman. The legend tells of a beautiful woman named Maria who, in a fit of rage and despair after being scorned by her lover, drowned her own children in a river. Realizing the horror of her actions, she was consumed by guilt and drowned herself. But she was denied entry into the afterlife, condemned to wander the earth for eternity, searching for her lost children, perpetually weeping, "Ay, mis hijos." In her desperate, maddened search, she will sometimes mistake living children for her own and snatch them away. The story of La Llorona was, and still is, a potent tool used by parents to keep children safe. A stark warning to never go near the river or canals alone, especially after dark. Our final stop takes us north to the frigid forests of the Great Lakes region. Here, in the deep snows and biting winds of winter, lurks a creature born of starvation and desperation, the Wendigo. A Wendigo is not born, it is made. According to the legends, a person who resorts to cannibalism during a harsh winter becomes possessed by the spirit of the Wendigo. This act transforms them into a monster, cursed with an unending hunger for more human flesh. It was a story about the dangers of greed and selfishness. It was a story that promoted cooperation, generosity and moderation, all essential values for survival in a harsh and unforgiving environment. The Wendigo is more than just a monster that might eat you. It is a monster you could become. It represents the terrifying idea that the line between human and monster is dangerously thin. The Tokoloshi, the ankle-biting fiend, the Asiman, the shape-shifting, blood-drinking neighbour, La Llorona, the eternally grieving mother, and the Wendigo. Each of these entities is a unique product of its cultural landscape. In Africa, we saw boogeymen who embodied fears of social malice. In the Americas, the boogeymen we met were born from tragedy and taboo. They warn that the greatest danger may not be a beast in the forest, but the person living next door. Our journey now takes us across the Pacific to Japan. On New Year's Eve, the terrifying arrival of the Namahage. Are there any crybabies here? The entire performance is a terrifying, high-stakes theatrical event designed to scare children into obedience for the coming year. The Namahage are the ultimate enforcers of social order and diligence. Japan's folklore is teeming with a more widespread boogeyman, the Oni. These are the classic demons, ogres and trolls of Japanese mythology. For parents, the Oni was the quintessential boogeyman, a versatile monster suitable for almost any warning. If you don't go to sleep, the Oni will come and snatch you away. If you lie, an Oni will rip your tongue out. We travel now to China, where the supernatural world is populated by yaoguai, typically animal spirits that have cultivated enough magical power to gain intelligence and shapeshift into human form. Yaoguai are masters of deception. The yaoguai represented the idea that beauty could be a mask for evil, and that giving in to temptations of the flesh could lead to one's downfall. Our next stop takes us to the archipelago of the Philippines. Here we find the aswang. By day, an aswang appears as a normal member of the community, but by night, it transforms. The most notorious type of aswang is the manananggal. Her torso gruesomely separates from her lower body. She lands on the roof of a house and lowers her incredibly long, thin, proboscis-like tongue to suck out the heart of the fetus. For our final destination, we travel far south to Aotearoa, New Zealand. The Patupaia fairy folk, pale-skinned spirits of the forest. Their music is said to be enchanting enough to lure people off their paths and deep into the forest, never to be seen again. Across these vast and varied regions, a powerful theme emerges. The fear of the shapeshifter, the monster that can look like us. They warn that danger does not always come with horns and claws. It can come with a beautiful face, a friendly smile, or from within our own community. We have travelled the globe and peered into the darkest corners of human folklore. From continent to continent, we have seen that humanity has always had its monsters, lurking just beyond the edge of the firelight. These creatures are far more than just scary stories. They are reflections of the world that created them. They are born from real dangers. They are the personification of our anxieties. The boogeyman is a shadow, its shape cast by the real obstacles and terrors our ancestors faced every day. We also saw their crucial role as teachers and guardians of social order. These tales were a grim but effective curriculum for survival. Fear, it turns out, is a remarkably effective educational tool. We now have science and modern medicine, And yet the stories persist. They continue to fascinate and terrify us, appearing in our films, our books, and our modern urban legends. Perhaps it is because the primal fears they represent are still with us. We may no longer fear the forest, but we fear the dark alley. The boogeyman has simply changed his mask once more. And so I leave you with this final thought. My question to you is this: which of these ancient boogeymen, these historical horrors, do you think would still be the most terrifying today, and why? Which one gets under your skin and truly makes you want to check under the bed? Share your thoughts in the comments below. For the boogeyman, you see, is only truly dead when we stop talking about him. Sleep well.